Hey, Salvador Briggman here. Welcome back to the Crowdfunding Demystified YouTube channel. On the channel, we talk about everything crowdfunding, and today we're getting some basic advice for someone who's doing crowdfunding for the very first time. Some of the things that you should know. We're just going to kind of go through the tips format, just roll through these so you can more quickly go out there and actually do what you want to do, which is raise funding for your dream, for whatever it is. We're getting into it right now. Okay, so crowdfunding encompasses a lot of things, right? There are a bunch of different sub-genres or sub-industries within crowdfunding. So I'm just going to first go over what are those different types of crowdfunding, and then we're going to get into some actual tips. So first of all, really quickly, there's what's called rewards-based crowdfunding. Okay, rewards-based crowdfunding we usually think of as Kickstarter, Indiegogo. With rewards-based crowdfunding, someone is usually raising money for a creative project, for a physical product, for a new invention of some kind, a comic book, a tabletop game, a new film, a theater project, something like that. And they're usually raising money on Kickstarter or Indiegogo. And I have a great video out there comparing those two things. With rewards-based crowdfunding, usually people have a specific goal, which is common among every type of crowdfunding. There's always some kind of a goal. And people can hit that goal, they can go beyond that goal, and the idea is to bring something new into the world. So that's called rewards-based crowdfunding. And the reason why they call it rewards-based crowdfunding is that when someone supports that project, they are also going to get access to these exclusive perks or rewards, which, obviously in the name, right? Which the person can then have shipped directly to their door, and they can enjoy that new innovative product or whatever it is that they support it. Maybe that's a new next generation, really cool like iPhone gadgets, or it could be like tarot cards or some kind of a beautiful painting or whatever. So rewards are what you get when you actually back that crowdfunding campaign. You then also have projects like, for example, charity-based crowdfunding or nonprofit crowdfunding, where someone is supporting an endeavor to do some good of some kind, or they're supporting someone who needs some kind of personal attention, meaning that they have education bills, they have travel costs, they have medical bills. There's some kind of personal reason that they're raising funds. And typically you think of platforms like GoFundMe when you're thinking of personal crowdfunding. I wrote a book, Crowdfunding Personal Expenses, which would fall under that category. And then you have also other types of crowdfunding like nonprofit crowdfunding, right? And I have books out there on nonprofit crowdfunding explained, nonprofit fundraising hacks, which you can check out on Amazon or on Audible. And nonprofit crowdfunding is usually for a specific project, and almost always it's run by a 501c3 organization, a tax-exempt nonprofit organization. And in addition, there's what's called peer-to-peer fundraising, which again falls in that nonprofit category where someone is raising money. It kind of goes beyond the scope of this video. Another thing would be what's called real estate crowdfunding. So this is kind of like an esoteric, not a lot of people know about this, but you can do crowdfunding for real estate. So people can actually raise money for a real estate property, and there are a bunch of individual little investors who are putting money and owning a portion of that property. So there's traditional real estate crowdfunding. And then there's kind of what's happening now, which is more the new age kind of stuff, which is what's called like a private REIT or a non-traded REIT, which usually is used by companies like Fundrise. So that they originally started with real estate crowdfunding. It's kind of like, changed and morphed over the years. You also have sites out there like CrowdStreet example. Then we also have another type of crowdfunding called equity crowdfunding. Equity crowdfunding is kind of like the new kid on the block. I actually got started in 2012 trying to do a mini econ thesis around equity crowdfunding, but there just wasn't enough data, man. There was not enough data, and you need data to do a good thesis, so I couldn't do it on that. Unfortunately, I ended up doing it on a Kickstarter. But equity crowdfunding, you can raise money for a startup company using crowdfunding, and this is under the regulation crowdfunding, was known as this law that was enacted under the Jobs Act that allows anyone to invest in a startup company nowadays, as long as you go under this regulation, and there are certain limitations there and the cap in which amount you can raise. But regulation crowdfunding is kind of like the new kid on the block. You have a lot of sites out there like WeFunder, StartEngineRepublic.co, Seed Invest, etc., that are using regulation crowdfunding and helping people raise money by attracting investors. The final type of crowdfunding I'm going to mention, there are two more. There's, I guess, subscription-based crowdfunding. You can have like Patreon, where people are supporting on a recurring basis, and then there's also debt crowdfunding, which is more of like peer-to-peer lending, where you think of like Prosper, Lending Club, like those guys. So there's a lot of different forms of crowdfunding, and I just want you to be aware of that before we get into some actual tips and advice. Okay, so let's get into the tips. So first of all, you got to know why you're raising money, what you're raising money for and the type of crowdfunding that you're going to be using. So let's just say that you have a new project that's coming up and you're going to go on a humanitarian mission to El Salvador, where I was adopted from, and you're going to do some great volunteer work and you're raising money to help support that. That's going to be a very different crowdfunding campaign than if you've invented a new gadget or a gizmo and you're trying to raise money to really get to the next stage, or to pay for injection molding costs, or to get the initial order run for the product. So you want to know the reason why you're raising money, and that's going to inform which platform you end up using for your crowdfunding campaign, as well as the obligations that come with raising money. So for example, with the going to Haiti or going to a third world country or whatever and doing that, probably people want to see updates and photos and videos of you doing that, just to make them feel good that they supported something that's real. With more of like a Kickstarter, Indiegogo, they probably want the actual product, right? They want access to those perks and rewards. With an investment crowdfunding campaign, they're looking for shares in the company at a future date in time. So you want to be aware of what people are looking for, and also the type of money that you're looking to raise and what kind of platform that fits on. The next tip here is to really get crystal clear about the person who's going to be giving money. Okay, and here's why. It's great to like say, okay, I have a need. I need this money. I'm going to put something out there, right? However, that kind of energy never usually works very well. Not only does it come off very me-centric, but you're also just not considering why other people are taking action. Why are they joining you in this endeavor? So the next tip that I have for you is to always think about what is going to get people excited about being a part of this crowdfunding campaign. Is it the story? Is it the need and how their funds are going to change the world or impact someone or save starving families? Or is it going to be that this is going to enable you to then go that next iteration with this product and be able to get out something really great that is going to solve a real problem in their life? Think about what's going to make that person hook and like actually pay attention to you, aside from just another plea, another ask for money. And there are so many of them out there. I mean, you're just another contestant on Shark Tank, right? So you want to think about, how do you get someone's attention? And more importantly, how do you make them feel good about becoming a part of your actual project and actual campaign? And if you are able to do that, that's when you're able to get strangers to support your crowdfunding campaign. And that's kind of what I built my career on, is teaching people how do you get a stranger who doesn't even know you to actually become part of something that you're doing, right? And to really take action. And it's so exciting when that happens. So make sure you're crystal clear on that fact. The next is to start to assemble the assets that you need in order to make that pitch, in order to swing and to make sure that you actually get contact with the ball and able to get on first base, or ideally get a home run, right? You want to make sure that you put together those assets that you need. So I would recommend, if you can, you might not be a planner, but you should put together some kind of a notebook. And you're just like, this is my crowdfunding notebook, okay? I'm going to write down everything that I need in order to get this campaign up and running. So you should be thinking about, when am I going to launch this campaign? What do I need to do before I go live with it? What are some of the assets that I'm going to need? For example, a pitch video maybe, or some photos, or a written story of some kind, right? You're going to put together all of the assets and the things that you need to present a compelling pitch. And you probably want to write down a checklist, or put this in a notebook, and also just an idea of what that schedule is going to look like. So this will help you stay on track, and then you're just not going to show up and be like, okay, so I need this, I need that, oh shit, I forgot that, oh my gosh, this is going to delay this date, what am I going to do next, right? It's going to be a massive headache. So you want to make sure that you start to write that stuff down. It's going to really help with any process in life when you have checklists, when you have timelines, when you have things that you need to do, when you have mentors that you can access, when you have books that you're reading to get educated about the process. It's going to make it so much easier. So make sure you invest in that. The next tip that I have for you is to think about marketing and promotion. Now, I know that probably one of the reasons why you're looking to raise money is like, dude, I just need some funds. I need some resources. I want to get this out there so that I can get more people excited about this. And that's so true, right? If you're opening up a new restaurant, right, and you're like, okay, we're going to have a grand opening of the restaurant. Who are you going to invite? You're probably going to invite your friends and family. You're going to probably put flyers around the local neighborhood, right? You're going to want to get people show up at that initial launch party so that everyone feels good and is having a great time. Like, this is a great restaurant. I want to go back next weekend, right? You got to have a launch event. It's not enough just to launch it and be like, hey, where is everyone, right? In the real world, you would never do that. You would never just have a party, let's just say, you have a birthday party, you're scheduling a birthday party, and you're like, you just say, look, I'm having a party tomorrow. Where is everyone? right? It's like, it doesn't make sense. You would first be like, hey guys, I'm going to be doing this. What do you think about that? We're going to probably be doing it around 8. You think you can make this day? Great, it's coming up next week. Guys, get so excited. This is happening tomorrow. This is killer. Make sure you show up. You're going to be selling it. You're going to be promoting it, right? Because you want people to show up to the thing. Same thing goes with the crowdfunding campaign. You want to be creating a list of your friends and family who can take action first. You want to be doing, if you're doing more of a traditional Kickstarter, Indiegogo, you're doing what I teach in my course as a pre-launch. You want to be doing a pre-launch. Other things being, talking about the story. Are you getting influencers involved or reporters maybe? Are you going to be reaching out to journalists? Where are you going to be promoting this? Are you going to be joining some Facebook groups or some online forums? Think about the marketing strategy. How are you going to tell the story, get attention? What are your distribution mechanisms going to be? And more importantly, how are you going to bring to a certain degree your own crowd so that when other people see that this restaurant is popping and they're like, it's a Friday night, right? And it's 9 o'clock, or let's just say it's like 8 o'clock, right? 7 o'clock. And they go and they see this restaurant, everyone's out there having a really good time. There's some seating still available. Like, let's go here. This looks awesome. This looks fun, right? You want to get people's attention by using your own little crowdfunding street team. And the more you can do that, easier it is to just get strangers backing your campaign. So you want to think a little bit about that. The next tip that I have for you is to think intelligently about the costs. Now, ideally, if you are doing a campaign, right there, you're like, okay, I'm just going to put this out there, but there are always costs involved. Costs could be time related, or they could be hiring service providers that you need help with when it comes to this project. So for example, let's just say you're doing a physical product that you're trying to create, or a new tabletop or something like that. You need to obviously get good photos, you need to get a video, you need to get marketing assets, maybe you need to have someone help you when it comes to driving traffic. So there are service providers in this industry that can help you get started. You might also be really well versed in all that stuff. You don't need a service provider, but you just need to put in your own time. So you should be like, okay, I need to do this, 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 and then just start knocking it out one by one. One of the things that I provide is one-on-one coaching. So I sort of help people when it comes to understanding where they are in order to help them get to where they need to be, as well as introducing them to resources that they might not know about. So I really kind of help critique it, as well as push you in the right direction. And also with very few projects, I might be also working on them. So if that sounds interesting to you, I also have a coaching program. I can share a link down below, but that link will take you to a one-on-one coaching call, and you can book a call with me there. That being said, you want to begin to invest into your own education. And by that I mean just start watching videos, start listening to podcasts, start reading books, right, on what you're trying to accomplish here, and more specifically for the type of product that you have. If you're trying to do a nonprofit fundraiser, read about that. If you're trying to do a physical product, read about that and learn about that, and spend a good month just like learning and just being in that phase and being okay with that. And what's going to end up happening is you're going to realize all these major pitfalls that you didn't know about before, and you're like, oh man, I definitely don't want to do that, or I gotta do this in order to be successful. It's like every other process in life, right? If you're trying to accomplish something, the more educated you are, the easier it is for you to also work with service providers, and also you're just more intelligent about what's going on, and you know what's around the next bend. Right? And you know where the opportunity is. I can't tell you the number of times that someone's come to me with like a new product idea and like, do you think this would be a good idea? I'm like, man, this is insane. You definitely need to be researching more, because like there's nothing out there like this. And also like it's so much easier than you think to get funding nowadays for this specific type of product category, right? So you want to be doing just that. So you have an awareness, you have a broad level awareness of what's going on with the crowdfunding industry. The next tip that I have for you is to get concrete and solid about that launch date, and to be aware of the different stages that a campaign goes through. So like you're going to launch, right? And you're going to do certain things and take certain action around that, but also be aware that most crowdfunding campaigns last for a certain duration of time. And that's kind of the hallmark of crowdfunding, is like you have a certain funding goal and there's a certain time that you're raising this money over. So you want to plan that out if you can. Like, okay, this week I'm going to be doing this week I'm going to be doing that week I'm going to be doing that, and then I'm going to be finishing, I'm going to be doing my Hail Mary pass, I'm going to be getting everyone who didn't take action to then take action in the last couple of days. So think a little bit about your live phase in addition to the preparation, because you don't want to be just launching and like, now what do I do, right? you should already just have a broad level sense and sort of have at least sketched out what it is you're going to be doing when you're live with your crowdfunding campaign. And if you do that, you're going to be way more successful than everyone else out there. And I can tell you, just most people aren't even thinking about the live component and the live phase. So if you even plan a little bit of stuff, you're going to be way more successful there. Want to take all the stress out of fulfilling your Kickstarter rewards? Fulfillrite is the turnkey solution that puts product delivery on autopilot. The Top Campaigns uses trusted high-tech provider to store, package, and ship their products. Focus on growing your business. Leave shipping to the experts. Don't wait. Get a custom quote from Fulfillrite today. Link in the description. So go and listen to some of the other videos I got out there. There's tons of free resources that I put out there. I have a podcast as well. These are some great places to get started. Got tons of great stuff. If it's more specific to Kickstarter and Indiegogo, I got a book out there, Kickstarter Launch Formula. If it's crowdfunding personal expenses, that's going to be more for GoFundMe and those types of raises. I got nonprofit crowdfunding explained, equity crowdfunding explained, etc. So make sure that you are investing in your own education. Make sure that you're following a couple of real live projects just to see what they're doing. And just start taking action a little bit by little bit, and you'll be surprised. You will get things together very quickly. I'm sure if you're even watching this video, you've probably taken action in other areas of your life, man. You probably accomplished other things. Exact same thing. You're just taking action again, and you have maybe something that's a little bit unknown, but I'm here to help you every step of the way. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Come subscribe for more content like this. Hope this video was helpful, at least introducing you to some ideas, and I will see you next time.